He was standing in the kitchen, past midnight, wearing nothing but silence and shame. His eyes met mine, tired, confused, almost begging. I placed my hand on his chest and asked, "Is it still bothering you?" He nodded. And I said the words that split my life in half. "Then let me help. Just this once." People think love is clean, safe, predictable. But sometimes, it arrives in silence. Sometimes, it wears a younger face. And sometimes, it finds you in your kitchen at 2 a.m., asking for permission to be wanted. You can hate me for what I did. Maybe you should. But I won't lie to you. This is the truth. All of it. Before we begin, I want to warn you that this story contains mature themes. It deals with the challenges of loneliness, emotional vulnerability, blurred boundaries, and morally complicated choices. If these topics make you uncomfortable, you might want to stop watching now. If you're still here, then stay. I have more to say. The house was always quiet. Not peaceful, just still. Like it was waiting for someone to come home who never would. I wake up early. I don't know why. Habit, maybe. There's no one next to me. There hasn't been for 5 years. People think grief has a loud beginning, crying, chaos, noise. But the worst part comes after. When everyone stops calling. When the casseroles stop. When the house settles back into silence. I lost my husband in a car crash. It was sudden. Fast. They said he didn't feel anything. I don't know if that helped or made it worse. Dexter was 13 then. Just a boy. Not mine by blood, but I loved him anyway. I told myself I'd stay for him. That we'd get through it together. He grew up so fast. Now he's 18. Waiting for college. Headphones always on. Room always closed. He doesn't need much from me anymore. I think he's still grieving too, just in his own quiet way. He calls me Jen. Not Mom. Never Mom. I never pushed it. He lost one parent. I didn't want to replace the other. I cook for him. Knock twice on his door. Leave food. Sometimes he eats it. Sometimes not. He's polite, always. But he doesn't really look at me. There's a loneliness that doesn't shout. It just sits with you. You make the bed. You water the plants. You check the mail. And no one asks how your day was. I started talking to the garden. Not like a joke, really talking. Like the tomatoes were old friends. I'd pull weeds just to have something to do with my hands. I work from home. Laptop open. Coffee going cold. I listen for footsteps upstairs, even when I know he's not coming down. He's a good kid. Keeps to himself. Never gives me trouble. But it's strange, living with someone who was once a boy and now looks like a man. It makes the house feel smaller somehow. Like there's less space for me. Sometimes I wonder what he remembers about his dad. If he remembers me holding his hand at the funeral. If he still sees me as family, or just the woman who stuck around. Grief never really leaves. It just gets quieter. Like dust in corners. You stop seeing it. But it's always there. And me? I got used to being needed. That was my role. Caregiver. Steady hands. But these days, the plates I set go untouched. The words I say fall into silence. He doesn't knock on my door. And I don't knock on his. It was a Wednesday. I remember that, strangely. Late afternoon. The house smelled like garlic and butter. I was halfway through chopping vegetables. I could hear faint footsteps upstairs. Nothing unusual. Dexter moves like a shadow most days. Barely any sound. But something about that moment pulled at me. I wiped my hands on a towel and went to ask if he wanted pasta or rice. Just a simple question. Something to fill the space between us. The staircase creaked under my feet. Light was pouring in through the windows, hitting the floor in soft gold. I wasn't thinking. Just walking. Just moving. His door wasn't fully shut. That's the only reason this happened. It was cracked open, just enough to see in. I shouldn't have looked. But I did. He was sitting at his desk. Shirtless. One hand on the mouse. The other. I froze. His back was to me. His body tense. Focused. The screen glowed in front of him, colors flashing. I didn't need to see the full image to know what it was. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't move. I wasn't supposed to be there. He didn't know. He had no idea. My eyes landed on his skin. Pale, flushed. His arm moved slow, then fast, then slow again. Like he couldn't get where he wanted to go. Frustrated. Caught somewhere between shame and need. There was nothing seductive about it. Just something so human. So raw. He looked like someone trying not to feel alone. And me? I just stood there. Holding my breath like a thief. I didn't stay long. A few seconds, maybe less. But it stretched inside me. Like time didn't work right in that moment. When I stepped back, the floor creaked. I turned, walked fast. My hands were shaking. Back in the kitchen, the butter had started to burn. The garlic too. I threw the whole pan in the sink and stood there. Staring. Trying to quiet the sound in my chest. What was I feeling? I didn't know. Shame, yes. But also something else. Something warmer. Something confusing. I should have felt disgust. But I didn't. I felt like I had seen something private, yes, but also something true. I didn't go back upstairs. I didn't mention it later. I just cleaned the counters. Put the vegetables back in the fridge. Washed my hands 3 times. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept seeing the look on his face. That strain. That ache. And for the first time in years, I felt something shift in me. Like I had stepped over a line I didn't know existed. But here's the strange part. I didn't feel lost. I felt awake. I told myself to forget it. That it was a moment. A mistake. That these things happen, and then pass. But it didn't pass. It stayed. Lingered. I'd walk past his room and hear movement. My mind filled in the blanks. I didn't want it to, but it did. Suddenly, everything he did felt louder. The way he cleared his throat. The way he avoided my eyes at dinner. The way he only spoke in half sentences now. I'd sit across from him and wonder, does he know I saw? Did he feel it too? Or was it just me, spinning? And that's what scared me. Not him. Not the memory. But me. I started watching him more closely. Not stalking. Just noticing. The little things. He walked slower these days. Shoulders tense. Always in hoodies, even when it was warm. Always tired looking. He wasn't a child anymore. But he wasn't fully grown either. There was something unfinished about him. Something still forming. And I didn't know what I was anymore. Not a wife. Not a mother. Not young. Not old. Just, here. I'd think about that afternoon in pieces. Not the act. Not his body. But his face. The way his brow pulled in. The way he looked so lost. I began to wonder if I was broken. What kind of woman stands there and feels what I felt? What kind of woman doesn't walk away faster? But I didn't feel sick. I felt alive. In the worst and best way. It wasn't about sex, not at first. It was about being wanted, noticed, needed. It was about warmth. At night, I'd lie in bed and picture things. Not his skin. Not his hands. But him looking at me. Just that. Him seeing me. Reaching for me. Saying my name like it meant something. There's a part of me that I buried a long time ago. After the accident. After I stopped being touched. You don't realize how much of yourself you shut off until it starts to wake up again. And one night, it did. I was in the bathroom. The door locked. The lights dim. I sat on the floor, knees pulled in. I stared at my hands. My own reflection in the faucet. I whispered out loud, "What is wrong with me?" I hadn't touched myself in years. It felt almost embarrassing, like something childish. But that night, I did. Slowly. Quietly. Not out of lust, not only. But out of need. Out of ache. My eyes closed. And yes, I saw him. But not in a filthy way. I saw him looking sad. Vulnerable. Needing someone. And I imagined offering comfort. Just comfort. A warm touch. A kiss on the forehead. Arms around his shaking body. But my hand kept moving. And I couldn't stop. When I finished, I cried. Quiet, ugly tears. I didn't feel clean or dirty. I felt cracked open. There's no map for this. No label that makes it easier. Just silence. And the weight of what you can't say out loud. But the truth is, that night, I felt real. For the first time in years. The silence at dinner felt louder than usual. Forks scraping against plates. Water glasses clinking. No words. Just breath and distance. Dexter didn't look at me. He kept his head low, eyes on his food, hands moving too carefully, like he was afraid of dropping something. I watched him push peas around his plate. Bite, chew, swallow. But his jaw was tight. His hands trembled slightly. Just enough to notice if you were really looking. I was. My chest felt tight. Not from shame. From holding something in for too long. I set my fork down. Took a breath. Then said it. "Dex, do you want to talk about what happened earlier?" He froze. Mid-chew. Didn't move for a second. Then slowly looked up. His eyes were wide. Red around the edges. "I didn't mean for you to see." His voice cracked. Just a little. Like it hurt to say it. I reached across the table. Placed my hand over his. He stiffened, but didn't pull away. "I know," I said. "But I want you to know, you don't have to hide from me. I'm not here to shame you." His hand stayed under mine, still and warm. I could feel his pulse. Fast. He didn't speak right away. Just nodded once. Barely. We sat like that for a while. Nothing more said. Just the sound of the clock on the wall, ticking through the quiet. I didn't plan what I said next. It came out like something breaking loose. "Do you know the last time someone touched me?" I asked. "I don't." He looked up again. Confused. Cautious. "I mean, really touched me," I added. "Not just a hug. Not a handshake. I mean, skin to skin. Someone reaching for me because they wanted to. Not because they had to." He didn't say anything. But I saw the shift in his eyes. The recognition. I kept my hand on his. My thumb brushed lightly across his knuckles. It felt like too much and not enough, all at once. "I'm lonely, Dexter. I've been lonely for a long time. And I've been pretending I'm fine. But I'm not." His eyes filled, but no tears fell. He just sat there, blinking slow. "I'm sorry," he said quietly. I didn't mean to make anything weird. You didn't, I said. That moment, what I saw, it wasn't wrong. It was real. And it made me remember something I'd forgotten, what it feels like to be human. He looked down. Swallowed hard. I could see his shoulders shake once. Just once. Do you hate me now? He asked. No, I said. No, Dex. I could never hate you. We were both trembling in different ways. Two people at a table, no longer hiding, not completely. There were no decisions made that night. No lines crossed. Just a crack in the wall between us. A space where something honest could finally breathe. I don't want us to be strangers anymore, I said. Not if we can be something, kinder. He nodded again. And this time, he didn't look away. It was after midnight. The house was still. The air felt heavy, not hot, not cold. Just waiting. I got out of bed without knowing why. Something pulled me into the hallway. I moved quiet, barefoot, down the stairs. The kitchen light was on. Faint. Just above the stove. Dexter stood near the sink. T-shirt, boxers. His hands gripping the counter like he was trying to hold himself up. I didn't say anything at first. Just watched him. His shoulders were tight. His jaw clenched. He looked like a boy trying to carry something too big. He turned when he heard me. Eyes red. Not from crying. Just tired. Overwhelmed. Can't sleep? I asked. He shook his head. Didn't speak. Is it still bothering you? He hesitated. Then nodded. I walked to him, slowly. I didn't want to scare him. Or myself. I stood close enough to hear him breathe. Then placed my hand gently on his chest. His heart was racing. Then let me help, I said. Just this once. You're not alone anymore. He didn't answer. But he didn't move away. Everything after that felt quiet. Like the whole house was holding its breath. I touched his face, just once. Brushed the hair from his forehead. He looked at me like he was waiting for something. Or maybe like he didn't know what to wait for at all. We stood there, not speaking. Just eyes. Breath. Distance shrinking. He leaned forward first. Not fast. Not desperate. Just, slowly. Like he was asking without words. When our lips touched, it wasn't fireworks. It wasn't some movie scene. It was trembling. Gentle. Careful. The kiss of two people unsure if they should even be doing this, but needing it anyway. My hands moved to his shoulders. His to my waist. We didn't rush. We didn't speak. We just felt. The kitchen light was dim. The tile cold under my feet. Every second felt heavy and strange and real. I don't know when it stopped being a gesture of comfort, and became a crossing. Clothes fell away in silence. Not ripped. Not thrown. Just removed. One piece at a time. Like we were shedding more than fabric. His hands shook. So did mine. He kept asking, in whispers, in eyes, if this was okay. I answered without words. Just touch. There were apologies in the way we kissed. Regret tucked inside every movement. And still, neither of us stopped. It wasn't about lust. Not really. It was about being held. About having someone's skin against yours after years of emptiness. At one point, he touched my cheek. Just his thumb, tracing the edge like I might disappear. And that nearly broke me. I closed my eyes. Let the moment take me. Let the ache go quiet for once. We didn't speak afterward. We didn't look at each other right away. He rested his forehead against mine. His breath was shaking. I kissed his temple. Then pulled away. I picked up my clothes without a sound. Slipped them back on. Stepped toward the hallway. At the bathroom door, I paused. I didn't turn around. I just whispered, soft, like it was only meant for the walls. I love you. I shouldn't. But I do. The morning came like it always does. Light creeping in through the curtains. Birds singing too loudly. Nothing looked different, but everything had changed. I sat in the kitchen, same spot as always. Coffee in hand. The mug warm. The silence louder than ever. Dexter didn't come downstairs. I didn't expect him to. I stared out the window. The garden looked untouched. The tomatoes still turning red. The world kept going. But I couldn't move. There wasn't regret. Not in the way people think. I didn't feel evil. I didn't feel powerful. I felt heavy. Like I was carrying a secret too dense to set down. I kept thinking, if someone knew, what would they call me?